Welcome to episode 1 of Superchampbreakdowns. On today's episode, we're going through some of the most impactful transactions that have happened in the NBA. Deandre Ayton to the LA Lakers, Kevin Durant joining the Houston Rockets, Russell Westbrook still being a free agent. And we're also going to be covering some NBA drama that happened in the summer between Patrick Beverley and NBA All-Star Trae Young. Now, we're going to start off with Deandre Ayton joining the LA Lakers. I feel excited for Ayton because I think this is going to be a great opportunity for him to show that he's been underrated in the NBA for the past few years. Ayton spent the last 2 seasons in Portland Trail Blazers, and they weren't the best seasons for him, particularly because Portland is a growing team. He didn't have a chance to make the playoffs in either of those seasons or do anything significant to any of his sport as an all-star or even. I think Ayton is pretty underrated. He was drafted the first pick in the 2018 draft, and it's also significant to say that he's been to the NBA Finals. He made it to the NBA Finals in 2021, but he lost to Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, him joining the Lakers is going to be a very impactful change for the Lakers because last season the Lakers ended up losing to the Timberwolves in the playoffs, and that was due to the lack of a proper center. Jackson Hayes played the center, but he wasn't good enough to stop Rudy Gobert or even be a strong enough cause to take the Lakers to the next level. I think Ayton changes the game for the Lakers because now they have a center that's more than just a rebounder. He can actually shoot from the mid-range. He can shoot threes. And most of all, I think he's coming to this season with a point to prove. With the interviews I've watched, I think Ayton coming into this interview is seeing it as a chance to show why he was the number 1 pick. And I'm hoping that this season works out well for him. But more importantly, I would like to highlight that the Lakers have been making very impactful changes since getting Luka last season. With Ayton in the roster, it adds to an already strong defensive team. They have Rui Hachimura, who can also shoot threes and defend, and you have Jared Vanderbilt, who is a very good defender. So all this to say is that the Lakers have a very good chance to go for the championship next season. Definitely rooting for Deandre Ayton to see what he's going to do. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he's going to be an all-star player, but I do definitely think that he's going to make significant strides to making the Lakers championship contenders for the upcoming season. Now, moving on to KD joining the Houston Rockets. This was a 7-man trade, and this included KD and Clint Capella coming to the Houston Rockets. This trade also involved Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks going to the Phoenix Suns, along with the 10th pick and 5 second-round draft picks for Phoenix. Now, this is how I see the trade. I personally feel that Houston Rockets might have made a mistake with getting KD. You might ask why. First, KD is 37, and KD has not won a championship, except when he was in the Golden State Warriors, joining a team that already won a championship. KD has had multiple chances since the Warriors to prove that he can still get a championship without Stephen Curry, but he has failed significantly doing that. When he joined the Brooklyn Nets, what was the excuse? You had Kyrie Irving and James Harden on your team, and you still couldn't make it. Then you joined Phoenix Suns, you had Devin Booker as an all-star, and you also had Bradley Beal as an all-star, and you couldn't even make it to a conference finals once. So my question is, Houston Rockets finished second last season. Why do they think they need KD? The Houston Rockets finished second in the Western Conference, only behind OKC, and they traded Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks. Jalen Green, to me, is a potential all-star. He has all the all-star qualities. He's going to be an all-star moving forward in the NBA. I think trading for KD might have been a mistake because the Houston Rockets, I'm sure of it, are not going to win a championship this season. It's very clear to me. I don't think they have the squad. They don't even have a point guard that's good enough to take them to the championship. I think they're going to be a They're going to be contenders, but they're not going to win the championship. Fred VanVleet is starting off the season with an injury, and I don't think Reed Shepard is good enough to handle the role of point guard for Houston. He doesn't have enough experience. Thompson is still a developing player. Although he shows so much promise, he still has a long way to go. Şengün is a good player, but I don't think he's still good enough to carry Houston to the next level. And I think Houston is definitely going to fight for their place, but I see a second round exit for Houston. I see them finishing in the top 4 in the Western Conference, and a second round exit definitely for Houston. Moving on to Russell Westbrook. I think Russell Westbrook is definitely in a very unfortunate situation with being a free agent. I don't see any big team that necessarily needs Russell Westbrook right now. And according to the reports, Russell Westbrook feels like he's still a relevant player to the point where he thinks he can be a starter. Well, I don't think Russell Westbrook can start for any championship containing team this season. If he really wants to get minutes, he would have to sacrifice by going to a growing team such as the Charlotte Hornets or the Washington Wizards or even the Utah Jazz, a team that he rejected before. But I don't think Russell Westbrook is definitely in the minds of the top teams. He's not a player that seems to produce the results that I think teams are needing right now in terms of his play style. And I say that because Russell plays with a lot of energy, and the question I have is his output significant enough to pick him over younger players? And I think the answer is no. Because Russell Westbrook, although he might be a great passer, he turns the ball over so many times. And he's not a reliable three-point scorer. He's not a reliable passer as he used to be. So it makes sense why teams are not really rooting for Russell Westbrook. And I feel for him in this time of his career. But that doesn't take anything from the fact that he's an NBA legend and one of the best to ever play the game. Now, on our last agenda for today, uncovering the beef between Trae Young and Patrick Beverley. During the summer, called out All-Stars, claiming that they don't play well enough. He single-handedly pointed out Trae Young. Trae Young responded by saying Patrick Beverley doesn't have the right to comment on All-Stars. And the quote is, "Let us speak for ourselves." That's what he said. So that upset Patrick Beverley. He responded by saying Trae Young hasn't won enough to criticize him, and a lot of people think Trae Young is a poor leader in the Atlanta franchise. This made Trae Young proceed to say in a 12-minute video where he acknowledged Patrick Beverley's defensive reputation, but then he also said that Patrick Beverley has no right to talk to him that way. And I think what he was just trying to say is Patrick Beverley isn't good enough. And this also resulted in KD on Twitter calling Patrick Beverley delusional, basically siding with Trae Young. My take on this is that Patrick Beverley talks a lot of trash for the kind of player he is in the NBA. I think Patrick Beverley has no right talking to Trae Young in that manner, just off sheer impact in the league. Trae Young averages 25 points and 9 assists. Patrick Beverley averaged 8 points and 3 assists, 4 rebounds while he was in the NBA. And I also want to note that when Patrick Beverley said this, he wasn't even in the NBA. So my take is to say that Patrick Beverley should watch his tone. He had no right to talk to Trae Young in that manner, purely because Trae Young is a better player. And Patrick Beverley also doesn't have the experience as an all-star player to speak on all-star player performances. And that wraps today's episode up. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. See you next time.